Water and sewerage work crews have been working on that problem in eastern New Providence, which has caused low water pressure or no water at all to residents in that area. In a press statement, officials say they experienced a major failure on its transmission main on Prince Charles Drive this morning, and they have been working around the clock to rectify the situation. As of 3 this afternoon, they began installing a new portion of the main, and they hope to have the works completed by 6. According to the statement, it will take a few more hours to fully restore the normal water supply. Water and Sewerage apologizes for the inconvenience caused. Several outstanding Bahamians were awarded for their contribution to nation building during the Jones Communications Network Person of the Year Awards luncheon at the Malia Resort on Friday. Leading the list was Prime Minister of the Right Honorable Perry Christie, who got the top award. Governor of the Central Bank John Roll was recognized for excellence in financial services and the implementation of value-added tax. FML CEO Craig Flowers secured the Businessman of the Year Shawnee Miller for sports, and Leah Head and Gina Knowles were honored for their hard work in assisting victims of Hurricane Joaquin. In accepting the award, Leah Head said it was more blessed to give than to receive.
Charity is something that's given. It's given to help the needy. And unfortunately, it's not something that we reach in and deep in our pockets on purpose all the time. So in order to give that provision, we need to understand, remember, and remind ourselves that we must be charitable.
Top honoree Prime Minister Perry Christie commended all of the awardees for their efforts.
The history of the person is spoken of. The history invariably would be identified with by persons out there who are hearing it for the first time. And they would see that the people who have been honored today have been able to work themselves from the bottom to the top. People who have been able to withstand challenges and be able to set themselves up as exemplars in their country.
This week is being observed as Charter Week for members of the Theta Epsilon Zeta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, which was founded here in the Bahamas on January 23, 1976. And to mark the special occasion, the Sisters of the Dove paid a courtesy call on one of its charter members, President of the Senate, the Honorable Sharon Wilson. The ladies of Royal Blue and White engaged in discussions about the operations of the Senate and its duties. President Wilson was amazed to see how far the organization has grown over the past 4 decades and was pleased to see that young Bahamian women continue to blaze trails in this country.
It's quite an honor to have been a part of the formation of the chapter of Zeta Phi Beta in the Bahamas some 40 years ago. But it's even more of a delight today to watch what is happening with that chapter and in the chapter, and to see the wonderful women of Zeta who have stepped forward over the years and who continue to be pillars in our community. As you may well know, I'm sure, that Zeta Phi Beta represents finer womanhood. And when we speak of finer womanhood, we're speaking of women who understand the values that are important to building and sustaining a community.
President of the Theta Epsilon Zeta chapter Taisha Lloyd and committee chairperson Anita Saunders explained the significance of the week.
We've had a successful week of activities starting from on Saturday with the Susan Common Walk. We're actually celebrating our Charter Week and Founders Week under the theme of 40 and Finer, for 40 years of service for finer women, which is one of the ideas of Zeta Phi Beta sorority. We started on Saturday with the Susan Common Walk, where we graciously and energetically walked the full route of the Common Walk. We won the most energetic team as well.
Today was just such a special occasion for us to do so because our very own soror, Sharon Wilson, Senator Sharon Wilson, works here, and Senator Sharon Wilson is also a charter member of Theta Epsilon Zeta chapter, and we wanted to pay a special visit to her at the Senate as well as celebrate 40 years of service here in the Bahamas.
Now to news that could have positive benefits for the environment. The government is looking to reduce the country's reliance on fossil fuels and is hoping the option of owning an electric car will help to drive the message home. Before heading out on a test drive, Minister of the Environment and Housing, the Honorable Kenrick Dorset, explained that the vehicles provides a tremendous benefit to the environment as it produces zero carbon emissions into the air. And he believes now it is a time to take it one step further by adding these vehicles to the government's fleet.
We would certainly like to see a reduction of our nation's reliance on fossil fuels, even though we provide a negligible amount of greenhouse gas emissions. We certainly would want to see a reduction in emissions. And as the government itself is contemplating vehicles emissions legislation and looking at the transportation sector, we think that this is one of the low-lying fruit for us in being able to further provide public education on the benefits of being able to buy electric and hybrid vehicles.
Principal of Easy Car Sales, Pia Farmer, says they are not only good for the environment, but the pocketbook as well, with leasing options available. Farmer is also confident of the benefits to the Bahamas.
It will cost you about a quarter of what you're spending now in electricity to run your car. And also you won't have the annual massive service on a combustion engine because we don't have oil change, services of the engine, radiator, spark plugs, all of that kind of thing that is costly every year to maintain.
And coming up in sports, a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer in town conducting a coaching clinic. Jonathan Benson is up next with sports.